So, welcome to Beyond the Kitchen podcast, the things that you don't see.
Right.
Welcome, Matt, Development Director at Moylans, part of the team. How are you today?
Yeah, very good, very good. One of the things that we're going to talk about on this podcast as we flow through, we're going to have quite a few subjects to cover. But on this first one, Neil and I got together. We've discussed it. I've been working with him for quite a few months now, and we're looking to move the business on, and hence the development director bit, and just take a step out of the comfort zone that everyone finds themselves in. And you'd agree that you have got yourself into that a little bit, Neil.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is create this podcast for potential clients, even builders, developers, local estate agents. So we'll jump from having the customer journey, we'll jump from having the experts in their own field. But what we want to do in this first one is say hello, introduce a little bit of history about where you got to, Neil.
Yeah.
I'll talk about a little bit of my background and why some of you might know me from a bar in the local town to how I've ended up to where I am now. But I mean, how far do we go back, Neil? How long ago did you start?
Well, 1998 is when we formed the company. 2 years later, year 2000, we opened the showroom in Lee, Broadway. A couple of years later, I met you socially out and about in Lee, and that's how far back you go.
I mean, for people to get a little bit of background on me, I was heavily involved in hospitality over the years. I've run and been involved in the ownership of lots of bars and restaurants. And so I've got to meet quite a lot of the people around the town. And Neil was one of them, and we've always had a close relationship. And design and development, because I've been involved in that quite a lot with the bars and the restaurants. Things like that then flowed. And then I started bumping into Neil out on jobs, didn't I? And we crossed over on a few projects. And there's nothing better than when you meet a relative trade on site that you're on the same page.
Yeah.
With finishings, with quality. And I suppose we've banded this collaboration around for me to come on board with Moylans a few times sort of over the last few years, haven't we?
That's it. Yeah. It's been great.
If we look to the most recent one we was involved when I got approached by a client, and they said, "Oh, Moylans are doing the kitchen." I went and did a site visit, and they had this, in my opinion, was a crazy idea to put an artificial green wall behind their hob.
Remember it well.
Induction heater. I mean, the job was fantastic. It was a beautiful house in Thorpe Bay, really good. But there was a lot of problems. We had an issue where the outside exterior wall had a removed chimney stack, didn't it? And we had to so we only had certain levels. The fish tank required loads of work, didn't it? But at the end of it, we got through it. We've walked away from it. It was probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
We've had no callbacks. The fish tank's not leaking. The green wall hasn't set on fire. So our attention to detail and risk assessment, and funnily enough, Mark Bloxham actually built the framework for that.
Right. Yeah.
That's that shows the relationship.
That is a testament to what we're doing, and I really believe in that word collaboration. We worked together, and we had to, because had we not, the result would have been completely different, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
And you got the client. I remember his name, Paul. Was singing all our praises at the end of the project, and there was, like you say, there was a few obstacles to overcome, not just on our side, but I think he had a few issues. We had this big bay window that he wanted these bifold doors in.
Yes.
I think he had to go to Germany to get them bespokely made. So there were a lot of sort of logistical obstacles to overcome as well, but we got there in the end.
So for everyone that's listening, this is kind of an intro into a podcast journey, isn't it, Neil? That we're going to talk about everything that goes on behind the scenes. So if you're a listener and you're a client that's thinking about spending a lot of money on a kitchen, and this is the the heart of your home, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so we want to guide you through that and hold your hand through the whole process, don't we? I mean, I'm a person that stands and socializes in the kitchen, so I know how that space should be comfortable. Some people like cooking, and
it's also, Matt, if you don't mind me saying and interrupting there, you've got a creative brain. which is really good. And although you might not have in the last couple of years, that unit goes with this unit, like in a kitchen design, you've got a very, very good understanding of how to bring a whole room together, the scheme that's behind it, which is, I think that's a great asset that you've got.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps me up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That I will have the most random ideas that will pop into my head about something or a project I'm working on, and I'll be panicking and panicking and panicking. Can't find a solution. 3, 4 in the morning, bang, it comes.
Yeah.
So it's my head does work, and the reason why I think I've got as far as I have in the times frame that I have is because I do worry about that little difference, that little something that you're not going to see somewhere else, and I'll spend the time to find that, because that's what everyone wants. Essentially, they want something that no one else has got.
Sort of feeds into Moylans as a company, and the whole culture of our company has always been about that attention to detail. The devil's in the detail. And having been around this length of time, we've built up and I'm not just saying this, got a really, really good reputation, second to none in the area. And it just feeds into where you're waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, finding solutions. It's similar to me. Over all these years, you've been challenges thrown my way that because I'm passionate about what I do, it's not unheard of waking up at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I've got an idea. You know what I mean? Because we're passionate.
That's the team you want.
Yeah.
Working on your project.
Yeah, exactly.
And like we say, kitchens aren't a cheap aspect of the house, are they? If you go back to when you started, the whole social environment has changed. And I mean, if you think, when did you start?
Well, I went into the kitchen industry the day I left school. So I left school at 16.
Right.
Wasn't very academic, just came out, wasn't going into secondary education because it wasn't me. And I went straight into the furniture industry. That's where I got my start, working for a company that sold the traditional furniture, sideboards, what they were called back in the day,
Right.
bedding, sofas, upholstery, coffee tables. That was my intro into the furniture industry. And it was a good old-fashioned retailer. I learned so much from them back in the day, because what I was taught by the people older than me that sort of took me under their wing, so to speak, was customer values. The customer's always right. And it wasn't always about, getting the sale. It was about building a relationship with the client. And it still lives with me to this day.
Well, funny you should say that. The likes of the Ivy restaurants in London and things like that, they are pushing back to how it used to be.
Yeah.
Whereas they don't want, by the waiter or waitress, they don't want them to be your friend. They want the service to be impeccable and professional.
Yeah.
Because now everyone's had enough of the hello mate, what can I get you? Sitting down, taking your order. They don't. So they're pushing back to how customer journeys and service used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but so
that's pretty much where. So going back to
so sorry, when was that?
What year? That would have been, I left school in 1983.
1983. So if we're thinking 1983, we're thinking of no combined kitchen diners.
None.
There was an air hostess, not an air hostess, but a hostess trolley in the dining room, wasn't there? And then there was coffee adverts on the telly where they were pretending to be coffee machines from the other room by making sounds. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
So she seemed like she was showing off that she's got a coffee.
You say a good memory. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's one thing I'm blessed with, is a good memory. But that shows that there was never combined spaces, was there? And that was the thing. Like, I mean, it's a sexist. You wouldn't dream of using those analogies or anything like that now.
No.
The woman's out in the kitchen. Well, it's
it was the way it was. It was the way it was. And I always remember, my family home growing up. My mum was always in the kitchen. That was her space. Dad and the children were in the front room or in the garden. But mum more or less lived in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But to be honest, Matt,
her domain. Yeah.
It was her domain, but there was only room for one person in that kitchen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, houses weren't designed around it that way, were they?
No, not at all.
I mean, if you look at any sort of new build now, the in new build flats and things like that, the bedrooms are tiny. They're everything's efficiently sized, isn't it? So you'll have efficient like wardrobe space, and then your kitchen and then your lounge will be a massive place for everyone to spend the majority of their time.
Yeah.
Because long and short of it, I mean, I've definitely been a person. You are in the kitchen at any party when you go around someone's house. Do you want a coffee? You'll end up standing in there more often than not. And what you tend to see now, isn't it? You'll have a posh lounge, which the kids aren't allowed in,
Correct.
and you go in probably twice a year, but it looks perfect all times. And then you have your snug or your room that's off the kitchen that's more everyday use, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but that's obviously where you've come into it, haven't you? And I think
I've seen it evolve, you know, from the early days. You know, sort of 5 years in, it was more like it's evolved quite a lot, because I always remember first getting in, you know, having my own business. It invariably was just knocking a wall down to create the kitchen space a little bit bigger. But now it's moved.
started with the little windows, didn't it? With the doors that you could open and peer through and pass food through.
The
Because
serving hatch.
a serving hatch, which again, that was a pain, wasn't it? Having to walk through the hall if you were going to the dining room and so. But that was the start of it, wasn't it?
It was.
The window from the kitchen.
The old serving hatch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's come on even more now. It's, you know, we're involved in a lot of developments, like you just mentioned, brand new houses that are coming out of the ground. And so much is focused on getting that area of downstairs correct. So it's more now, it's big open plan living, big kitchen, big island, plenty of room for, you know, a lovely sized table and chairs and a sofa or two with a big telly up on the wall. That's predominantly where design has got to this day.
And I think as well, one thing we're going to discuss throughout these podcasts is that, not to probably many of the listeners' knowledge, is that Moylans isn't just a kitchen brand, is it?
No, indeed, Matt. So we found a long time ago, we'd do a kitchen for somebody. And that's predominantly, you know, when we set our stall out in the early days, we was just all about kitchens, medium to high quality. And we stuck with it. And within a couple of years, we started making traction, started getting a big client base. Sort of the penny dropped. Well, of course we can do your bedroom. And we've done loads of bedrooms for revisiting customers that we'd already done their kitchens for. And then as the years rolled on, that led into, Neil, can you come back and do our media room? So we now do media furniture.
Right.
Home office.
Yeah, I mean, that's massive, isn't it now?
Same sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we found that with the garden rooms. It's the whole COVID, everyone and who in their right minds wants to get up and go 5 o'clock in the morning and go to London on a train if they can walk to their garden room or to their home office?
Yeah.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
It's a very big market for us at the moment, the home offices, as is the media rooms, because going back to what you were just saying earlier on, about creating the big space at the rear of the house for the kitchen, everyday living, you've got that front room that's sort of now been turned into or reallocated to, right, that's our cinema room or media room. Both, you know, mean the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that is the business, that side of the business is really growing. And so we're covering all aspects of in the home, fitted bedrooms, home studies, media, stroke, games room. So we've got everything covered within the house. And it's a fantastic portfolio.
We will go on, won't we? And interview different people throughout the series of the podcast.
Yeah.
This is kind of almost like we're not having a guest here, are we? We're kind of sort of co-hosting this first episode.
This first episode, yeah.
To talk through what we do and like the level of quality and the journey. I mean, one thing that I will definitely be doing and that I have done since I've been on board is meeting every client and talking with. We go through a brief, obviously, with every client's requests, but spending that time throughout that journey with them, and we both do now, don't we? We get involved in every kitchen, and we look at where we can. We're looking at technology, and we're developing new ways to do everything, and that's what we need to be at the front of we want to be ahead of the game, don't
Yeah,
we?
yeah,
With regards to everything.
We've always tried to be ahead of the game. We've tried
Yeah.
to be innovators and leaders, and I think, Matt, that's why we've built the name that we've got behind us.
It's a legacy brand, isn't it, now locally?
Going back to, again, the history of retailing kitchens. So right at the beginning, you know, the tools that we had to design a kitchen was literally a pad, a pencil, and a ruler and a tape measure. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we used to very basic sketch outline.
Some people still use that now, don't they?
Yeah, some people do actually. And you had to sort of then, it made your job difficult back in those days, was to say, well, there you go, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Look, there's a little room layout in that colour wood with this colour worktop. It's going to cost you £2,000, for example, back in the day.
Yeah.
And that might have been a lot of money back then, you know, £2,000. But in those days, the choices wasn't there. You've got 6 doors to choose from, 2 colour worktops, 1 set of sink and taps to choose from, 1 oven, 1 hob. That's how basic it was in the early days. But then as time evolved and technology, you know, came on board, like PCs, computers, and the programs and the softwares, the packages that were available, we were one of the first people in the area to have this new software package that we could do 3-dimensional CGIs.
Right.
So we're basically, you know, we're still the old-fashioned way, but go around, take the measurements, and then bring it back, pop it into the software. Obviously, with a lot of creativity involved, our ideas as well, but was then to be able to present to the customer a CGI.
Yeah,
Computer-generated image of how their kitchen is going to look.
and that's where we are now, isn't it? And with the development of AI and things like that, and the problems that we face with social media,
Yeah.
with the amount of AI images, and people come to us, don't they, and go, "I want that." It's good and it's bad. It has its positives and negatives, doesn't it? And we can, but I think what I was going to say along those lines was with the clients that come in and they see these pictures and images of things that they're like, "Oh, I want that doesn't exist, or it doesn't work," or like because AI hasn't got an engineering degree, and it'll just do things that don't actually work and things like. So we're kind of up against that. But yeah, like you're saying, we provide images that are to scale, don't we?
Correct.
And everything that we do, that is how your kitchen will look when it's installed.
Yeah.
And to go on that as well, one thing that I have figured out, and I've said over the time that I've been involved in construction and design and installation of all different manner of things that I've got myself involved with, the level of tradesmen that I've come across range from take those tools out of that man's hand to some people that I will only go to now.
Yeah.
And one thing since I've been at Moylans is the installation team there are so good, and they're just calm and confident. They get round problems which are rare because of the due diligence done beforehand. But they're great fitters, and you pride yourself on the fitting team, don't you?
100%, Matt. And the reason behind that, I've been a great advocate for, you know, you can go and buy a kitchen. You can spend £1,000 on a kitchen and £100,000 on a kitchen. But the key element to all of this is the man or the craftsman putting it in. So he's got the ability to make or break that kitchen, depending, you know, on whatever you spend. And this is why, like you say, we pride ourselves on our fitters. And they are more craftsmen than chuck it in, earn my money, on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know, we work at a relatively good pace, but the fitters are not encouraged. You know, the way we run our business is whether that takes a week or 2 weeks, you do what it takes at a comfortable pace to get that perfect.
Yeah.
100%. And kitchens do sell homes. Because they're the heart of the home.
Yeah.
The kitchen does help sell a home without a doubt. And especially if you've got a good quality kitchen in there, hence the reason the estate agents are saying, hello, this property has got a Moylans kitchen in it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So
I mean, I think we touched on it, didn't we, the other day when we was discussing the design for a job, and they call them garages now, don't they? It's where like a closed door area in the kitchen, where your toaster or your air fryer or your kettle and things, so it's not cluttering the side space. And it's some doored areas. Now, we discussed pocket doors, didn't we? And for any of you listeners that don't know what they are, they're doors that slide open as normal doors do, but then they slot back into the sides. And so you can leave that area open. So if you are utilising that area to make a couple of drinks or some toast, those doors aren't in the way. Yeah. They just slot back into the side of the system. And you was explaining to me, weren't you, Neil, that you can get ones from China.
Oh, correct.
That sound like some kids are playing marbles as they run back, don't they? Because of the ball bearings on the system.
Yeah.
And they were how much? They were, I think.
Oh, a Chinese pocket door system could cost you in the region of £500.
£500. Now, British made.
Well, actually, the ones that we use are German product.
Always very efficient.
Very efficient. German, well built, well engineered products. But it's obviously comes at a premium, but it's built to last for 20 years.
Right.
The product that you're going to buy from China, you'd be lucky if it lasted 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be replacing it. But then it's going to be clunky and the doors won't shut properly.
It won't be smooth. The German ones are like shutting an expensive car door, aren't they?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So, I mean, that's where, like you say, we'll have clients that will come in that money's no object, and they want that finish, don't they?
They do. And
then the problem with that is if they say, oh, no, we'll have the £500 one, then they're going to be disappointed when it's installed.
Exactly.
And then it kind of, for us, that is it's negative to the installation we're making, because our doors, when they close, as a rule, will close really nicely, perfect.
It goes back, Matt, to the day when we first set up, because I've seen different sides of the industry, pilot high, sell it cheap kind of product, to what we do now. So when we set our stall out all that time ago, we made a decision. So we're starting up. What do? Do we pilot high, sell it in volume, and do loads of it, earn small amounts of money? I thought, no, we don't want to do that. We want to go for a select audience, nice clientele, but much better quality. Because my opinion at the time was, if we pilot high, sell it cheap, it's just going to bring loads of problems.
Yeah.
And as a new businessman at the time, I thought, why do I want to be inviting loads of problems? It just didn't seem, I didn't want to go down that road.
No.
But then commercially, I thought, okay, so we A, the quality has got to be second to none. B, we've got to have the second to none installation teams, and, using all the right materials and selling a decent kitchen for a fair price. Okay, we're not in it to make huge amounts of profit. A good product at a fair price. And that culture has gone right through to where we are today.
Yeah.
So if somebody come in to me and said, we've got a budget for a kitchen and we want this, we've seen that on Instagram, or we've seen this on Pinterest, we will give our honest opinion, what things actually cost. So pick that, for example, the pocket door for £500 from China.
Yeah.
Although they're available to me through the industry, I wouldn't sell one. I really wouldn't.
No.
But when I say I wouldn't sell one, I would say to the client, what is the point of putting something in your home that I'm not really proud to put my name to? Yeah. And I know within 3 years, you're going to be on the phone, this rubbish you've sold us.
Yeah.
And that damages my reputation.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're about. We're about quality at a fair price.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I think that's what's paramount was a couple of months ago, we had the daughter of a client that had originally bought their kitchen with you come through and buy their kitchen.
Yeah.
Because they knew that they remembered their parents buying a kitchen with you way back when.
It's funny now, and it sort of makes me feel a bit sad sometimes, because I realise how old I'm getting. Being around all these years is now, we're getting the next generation coming into Moylans.
Yeah.
If you've done my mum and dad's kitchen.
But that's a compliment, right?
It is a compliment, yeah.
So it's them saying, I remember mum and dad getting it out, and I'm assuming if mum and dad, they were still around, weren't they? So they went to them and went, How was your experience with Moylans? They loved it. They enjoyed the kitchen.
Yeah.
They know you've moved on stylish, like with the stylish element of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see that in the showroom, can't you?
Yeah.
We've got traditional, we've got classic, haven't we? We've got modern, we've got new wave.
Yeah.
So everything's in there. So every style's covered, isn't it? So
It's almost like a lot of our clients have come along with us on our journey over that length of time. And I'm quite proud of that fact, to be honest. You know, like the second generation
I mean,
coming along.
Lee's quite a big place, but it's village mentality, isn't it? And
Very social town.
there's a lot of social spaces, and it's big, but everybody knows everybody, and I mean, as much as I don't want to sort of sound snobby or anything like that, but I'll say it as it is. Everyone likes to keep up with the Joneses. Everyone likes to puff out their chest.
Yeah.
Come and have a look at my kitchen. Come and have a look at what I've done. And as a business, obviously, we want to give them the best one, don't we? And then you need to be the best at finishing and things like that, don't you? And you also need to be ahead of finger on the pulse and watch market trends and elements. Like, obviously, you got your classics, haven't you? And some people go like that. But if someone's building their brand,
It's still your classics. I mean, a shaker door, and shaker's been around since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and it's still here today. But obviously, it's how you get created.
What's the sort of ratio shaker to?
I would say shaker has got to be at least 60-70%.
60%, right? And so, I mean, if it's
approximately,
if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, funny enough, the history of the shaker door goes back to the Quaker movement time. You know, you had in their communities, you had, say, the farmer, you had the local carpenter, you know, and he would be asked to make kitchen doors. And he would go to the local forest, chop a tree down, plane it down. And so I'm led to believe the simplest way to make a door was 5 pieces like a frame and a flat panel in the middle. And they called it shaker.
Right.
And that's where it originates from.
From Quaker. They're not the lot that did the old boiling hot taps, are they?
No, that's Quaker, man.
Oh, so
easy to get that mixed up. Easy to get that mixed up.
I can see that.
So yeah, going back to sort of the numbers and the like the percentages of different styles. So you've got shaker, okay, 60-70%, and then the rest is the more Germanic Italian style, the handleless, minimalistic style of kitchen.
Yeah, sort of just one piece, smooth fronted.
Yeah, like a slab door with a handle rail.
Yeah.
You know,
technologically wise, over that period, obviously you would have seen a massive change as well, wouldn't you? And I think one of the biggest spikes, I mean, it's not so much the kitchen, is the air fryer, isn't it? Everybody in the last 3 years, all you heard everywhere you went was air fryers.
Yeah.
And even to the point where products now sell air fryer instructions on the back of them. That is a quick movement, and that is a quick something. So, but what we're now doing is a lot of the companies have now recognised it, and really quickly they've started putting them and integrating them, haven't they?
Yeah.
So you've got them in the microwave, you've got the air fryer, the microwave, and the mini oven.
It's funny you should say that. I had a meeting with Siemens.
And they're one of the
a couple of weeks ago.
They're the mid-range market leaders, would you say? Or
they're sort of middle of the market. Saying it's good value, it's a lovely brand, good quality, good tech for a good price.
Right.
Then you can go up and you can go down low, but we don't really go any lower than Siemens in quality.
Right.
Because again, going back to what I was talking about earlier, we don't want to sell cheap, where it's just going to be inviting us loads of problems where the appliances are not performing as well as they should.
Because that's a fraction on us as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but anyway, funny enough, going back to air fryers, the company rep come in to see me a few weeks ago, and we got onto the subject of air fryers. Why they're not doing an oven that's got an air fry option.
Right.
She said, let me stop you there. She said, we're now... certain appliances going back, I think, about 2 years, because it's all Wi-Fi now, they've got a way to connect to the appliance, update the software on the oven. So it's got an air fryer.
And turn it into an air fryer.
Correct. Because you've basically got all the guts there to do the job.
So, but it would just be how it heats and which elements it turns on.
100%. And that doesn't apply carte blanche to everything.
No.
You had to have a certain model at that time 2 years ago, but they just patch you in,
isn't it?
Software update, and there you go. So Matt, now that you've been part of the team for some time, and I know you've known me on a personal level for so many years, what was appealing for you to come on board at Moylans? What considering all your wealth of experience around working in different spheres, what was really appealing to you so the audience has got an idea?
Yeah, I mean, when you sort of we touched on this over the last few years, it was just something that I felt that it was a quality brand, it was quality name, and I was working on certain aspects and coming across again other people that were trying to achieve what you're achieving, and they weren't quite getting there.
Yeah.
And so if I was ever leaning towards talking to a client, I'd say, have you gone to see Moylans? And I think this has been one thing that's been apparent since I've joined is with some people, when I was saying to them, oh, you need to go and see Moylans, a lot of people were saying, oh, they're expensive. But now that moniker that Moylans are expensive is due to the quality, and it was always the people that were spending quite a lot of their money on a kitchen were coming to you.
Yeah.
So if someone didn't feel that they couldn't quite keep up with the Joneses, they couldn't go to their friends' levels of investment in their kitchen, they couldn't come to Moylans because it wasn't something that but it was, like you said, you can design a kitchen in any level. So if you dropped an appliance down from, say, for example, from Wolf, which are one of the most expensive ovens out there, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the Sub-Zero fridges, you can drop down to Siemens, and you've just cut the cost of that kitchen down hugely, but you've still got the amazing quality, the amazing price, the furniture, the fitting, it's all still in there. So that when we actually discussed it and said about coming in on board, it was a development. It was to take it a little bit further, wasn't it? I mean, you find yourself, you get tied down quite a lot in the day-to-days, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And it's very, and you see it in businesses across the board. And and as I've said, I've gone from field to field on a few things. And I'm in about 3 different industries now that I'm involved in. People just get submerged in the running of it, and it doesn't allow you to push and develop boundaries and start going out and trying things like this podcast, for example. And this was when I came on board. The idea of this podcast was to just show people that this will be the journey that you go through with a kitchen with Moylans. And we can, and like beyond the kitchen, that Moylans does more than a kitchen. It can do your study, it can do your bedrooms.
It's always the podcast, by the way, I think it's a great idea, because what it does, we're opening up our souls to potential clients or just the audience in general on how we operate, what we do as a company, because let's face it, at the end of the day, the industry, it's all about glossy brochures, lovely sophisticated showrooms, and photography. But there's so much more.
Don't see the nitty-gritty.
Yeah. And it's not so much we're trying to sort of portray, look, there's so much more involved in the kitchen that you don't see. But it's working with the client and taking them on the journey as well. Understanding.
Some people, it would be the first time they've ever installed in a kitchen.
Yeah.
So they might not know what goes through that process. And I think what this does is it gives people a little insight, and for the clients. And one thing we will go on through this journey with the podcasts, and in future episodes, we've got we're going to a client's kitchen, aren't we? We're going to have a look round. So we'll have, obviously this is a podcast, you can listen, but we will be capturing images and video of this, so you'll be able to see the.
So it's an example of that particular client's journey
and their experience. And obviously we've gone to one that liked us, but I'm kidding. But But yeah, so I think the next episode we'll be talking to Mark Bloxham, who his knowledge is second to none in the area across multiple platforms and levels.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking we're going to spend some time with one of our fitters, aren't we? We're going to talk to
One of our fitters.
and who else?
One of our designers.
Yeah.
So it's going to explain, how it sort of evolves from a piece of or some measuring to how it evolves, and there's a lot of insight in that, which is going to be quite educational.
And I think one thing we like to do as well, which we take a brief, don't we, from a client, and we say exactly what do you want out of the kitchen, and we have a guide as to whether they like cooking, whether they want it as a social space, where they have all of these different aspects to how they want the kitchen to work, and quite often they'll say, I would like it like this. Now, we obviously listen to them, don't we?
Of course.
But we are also designers.
Yeah.
So we say, well, this is what you suggested, and this is what kind of, but we say, then how about this?
Yeah.
And we drop something in front of them that is something a little bit different that they may not have thought of. We get a range. We've got some people that look on social media and they'll go out and shop around and look at things. But so they'll have a bit of an idea, a bit more of a guide. But if you've got an older couple that are looking to develop their kitchen, they might not be on social media. So that they might have been in the kitchen for 15 years and go, well, we like the flow of it. We know how much it works. And then all of a sudden we drop something in front of them and they're like, wow. And they might not have even thought about it. So I think that's one thing that I've noticed since I've been alongside you.
Yeah.
You do that extra.
Well, it's funny you say that. I was with a client recently that had come in to me. They wanted to see me personally, the owner of the business. And I do get involved seeing the clients quite often. Is they come in with this preconceived idea, and they're sort of older generation. They're not into social media or anything like that. So we sat down and we want our oven there, we want our sink there, and we want this, and it was all matter of fact, this is how we want it. I said, by all means, but now is the time. You're changing. How old was this kitchen? 25, 30 years. I said, will you let me show you another way? Well, wouldn't bother wasting your time, Neil. We know exactly what we want. So you have to be a bit careful.
Yeah, of course.
So what I've done behind the scenes, unbeknown to the client, so when they come in to look at the presentation, I put down the presentation with their preconceived ideas, and obviously, although the layout hadn't changed, it was newer finishes, new quartz worktop. So It was different to what they had. And they liked it. I said, it's exactly what we wanted. I said, can I just have 5 minutes of your time? Unbeknownst to you, in the background, what I've been doing the last week is doing another design. I just wanted to show you. I put it in front of them, and Matt, honestly, their jaw dropped. And they went, that's not our kitchen. Yeah. I said, no, not your current kitchen. But look, I've introduced a breakfast bar area, an island with some seating off the back a bit. Oh my God, we didn't think we could have anything like that. So it just goes to show.
Yeah.
But that's what we do, And
I think, again, sort of reverting back to the creation of this podcast and what we can, it's offering the client, the listener, even the builders and the architects, even the estate agents that might listen into this.
Yeah.
Just to show them that we're here, we're approachable, we will get you to where you need to be, and we understand the concept of the amount of money and the percentage that you're going to be throwing at your kitchen. I'm sure that the builders and the designers will go into that a little bit more when they come on the show and talk about that. And the name Beyond the Kitchen, we are predominantly known as a kitchen company, aren't we?
Yeah.
But Beyond the Kitchen is a play on the fact that we don't just do kitchens, but also we're going to give you an insight to what goes on beyond just the finished kitchen article, aren't we?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
And what I really like about the podcast, and I must give you a bit of credit there because I would never have dreamed of doing this, is it's enabled me, and over the coming episodes, is because I am the owner of the business and I've invested in this for basically all my life, is that I am sharing with the audience, not only the audience, but our clients that are coming in all the time is behind the scenes. I actively get involved with helping the designers. You know, the designer's job is to design it, but I'm always stepping in.
You site visit as well, don't
Site
you?
visit.
Sure that the quality,
You know, because
there.
we're a small independent, yeah, and we're not a big chain of showrooms, so it's more that personal
Buck
touch.
stops here, doesn't it?
The buck stops here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm proud of what we've achieved, what we do, and also very proud and looking forward to what lies ahead as well.
Well, I think we've probably got to the end of the first episode here,
Yeah.
haven't we, Neil? Which has given us a nice basis on what we're going to try and achieve with this,
Yeah.
and moving forwards, and what kind of guests we're going to have. I hope that everyone that's listened, if you got this far, that has enjoyed the content. The future content will be more specialised a little bit. This is
It's going to be varied.
yeah, it's going to. This is a bit more general sort of introduction, hasn't it? Really.
Yeah. Good to get around the table and talk like this, isn't it? I think it's been great.
It is, and yeah, it's. I think for the listeners, it will just give them maybe not so much this, but for the future episodes, it'll give people a bit more of an insight. If they are playing in the kitchen, this is quite a good thing to listen to.
100%.
So Neil, I'll see you on the next episode of Beyond the Kitchen.
If you've got any questions regarding today's episode, please leave your comments below.